Hey everyone, and welcome to another one of our videos. Today I'm going to be showing you how to install this Desert Does It multi-mount panel on my 2014 F-150 Raptor. Now, before I even start the video, I just want to say the way that this thing was packaged and the way that it still is packaged is super awesome. They use some super thick mill plastic. They wrap everything up in foam that needs to be wrapped up in foam. Super impressed with everything before I even have started working on anything. So, just want to throw that out there. This thing is packaged really well, made in the USA, I believe in Las Vegas. So. Super nice first impression. Basically what this is a multi-mount panel that goes on the front of, I believe, either your driver's or passenger seat. I'm going to put it on my driver's seat, in the front of my driver's seat, and mounts using the stock seat bolt locations. Now, the reason you might want to do this is to mount anything that you might want to mount up in front of your seat, whether that's a first aid kit, a fire extinguisher, anything along those lines that you want to mount up there for quick and easy access. This is really the best way to do that. So, the way that this installs, it's got some brackets that sandwich in between the seat bracket, and then the bolt itself. They include some new bolts as well, which are, according to the instructions, higher grade than factory, which is nice. And then these brackets mount this panel right here with all the different slots and holes and everything, with a couple of stainless steel button head cap screws. They also include a nice little sticker. So, I'm going to go ahead and head out to the truck, show you how to remove the stock seat bolts, and then it should just be a matter of throwing these in and this together, all kind of rough fit, and then throwing it into the truck and torquing everything down with some Loctite and all. So we're going to go ahead and rough assemble this on the bench, and then head out to the truck and show you how to remove the seat bolts and all. Alright, so I found one area where the instructions are slightly lacking, and that's just in the orientation and everything. They tell you to pre-assemble the mounts right here to the mount plate right here, but it doesn't show any pictures of how or anything like that. So I went to the website and it does show, hoping this is correct, how this is oriented. So essentially this is facing upwards like so, and then these guys have these notches towards what would be the outside of the seats. So we're going to align essentially like so and screw everything down into place. So per the instructions, it asked us to loosely mount this before we throw it into the truck. I'm going to go ahead and do that and then pre-apply some blue Loctite to the new seat bolts over here. And we're going to go over to the truck and show you the installation process from there. Alright, so we're out here at the truck now, and I actually have one of the bolts removed. You can see right here, one of the factory seat bolts. And all you need to do to remove those is take a 15mm socket and a ratchet. I've got this one broken loose right here. And get those guys pulled out. So, if your truck's a northern truck, these go through all the way through the cab floor to the outside. Make sure that you spray some penetrating lubricant, especially on the bottom where it protrudes through, because it will probably be rusty. This is an Arizona truck, and these are still a little gritty coming out, in fact. You can see the bolt stopped right there. So, you use the ratchet to break it a little free. Guessing that's out or very close to it. Very close. So once you get these guys out, you're basically ready to install the new seat front mount. Really, all I'm going to do is give the seat base a little bit of a wipe down just to make sure it's got a nice clean surface to sit on, that there's no debris in between the seat mount and the seat itself, and I'll come back with the seat mount as well as the Loctite pre-applied bolts, and we're going to go ahead and throw it in. So as I may have shown in the clip, if it came out well enough, I test fitted the multi-mount panel a bunch of different ways, and how I assembled it on the bench is actually not how you want to assemble it. So if you look, the two stainless bolts are at the bottom, and the orientation of the cutouts is still towards the outsides, towards the seat brackets. Just make sure that you have yours oriented like this, because this will set down in place like this, and that's how this will go into place. So I want to mention that it looks like we can keep this trim panel in place on this side of the seat over here. This one had to get removed in order to clear the multi-mount panel, which is kind of a bummer, but here's what it is, and it'll work. So should be able to go ahead now and throw these new longer bolts down through the holes one right there. That's just started. And then the other one right here. Again, both of those have lockup reapplied on them now. And then I'm gonna thread those down in by hand, and they're going to get torqued to spec to 45 foot-pounds using a torque wrench with an 8mm hex socket on it, like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera, and then we'll wrap up with torquing these, which will be a different torque wrench because it's a much lower spec, and we'll be done. So we'll proceed to that. All right, so I got the two seat bolts torqued to spec. One thing I wanna mention is after you torque it to spec, you're probably gonna need to grab the bracket somewhat like this and just yank it towards you, towards the driver's side, just to pivot it out and straighten those brackets up a little bit. They will still move just a tiny bit because during the torquing process, you're more than likely gonna start clocking them over a little bit. So with that, we are ready now, I believe, to get this bracket torqued down. It's nice and flush and everything here. And these ones are going to be to 15 foot-pounds, or in my case, I'm doing 180 inch-pounds on my inch-pound torque wrench. So that's torqued to spec. And now that's torqued to spec as well. So this is fully installed. Now if we go back to my seating position, you can see that the multi-mount panel is well out of the way. In fact, I'll move the camera here, and you'll be able to see that coming in from the driver's side. You don't really even see it. So it's definitely well out of the way, enough to mount a first aid kit to, or again, the fire extinguisher or anything along those lines. It should work out great for what I'm going to use it for. So with that, I want to thank you all for watching. Let me know down in the comment section if you have any questions or anything like that, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take care.